This extremely large wealth management firm has now just raised over $30 billion in these categories that include real estate and specifically midterm and short-term rentals, along with other assets in there. It should tell you kind of like where the market's going. These are large, like, market movers. You know what I'm saying? $30 billion is no small amount of change. Like, you know what I'm saying? What do you think about this, bro? Hey, welcome to Uncommon State of Mind, where we debate different ways to leverage your next investment to create time freedom, legacy impact, and generational wealth so you can live that uncommon life. But in order to do that, you must be uncommon. My name is Joey, aka Mr. J Mays.
I'm AD, also known as AD, the Fly Realtor.
What's going on, guys? So I came across this. Actually, I was just sitting in a short-term rental conference, and one of the instructors, man, what is my man's name? I'm gonna have to look up his name. His name was like Michael something. But he does midterm rentals, and he brought up a fact that I had to go look up, and it was about a large money marketing firm or money asset.
Yeah, they're in investment management.
There we go.
Yeah.
A large investment management firm actually allocating a little bit of cash towards hospitality and student housing, midterm rentals, on top of a couple of other things. So the company's name is Blackstone. If you guys haven't heard of Blackstone, go look them up. They're freaking huge. They're one of the largest wealth management firms out there. And they, in the beginning of 2023, they ended up raising over $30.4 billion in a global real estate fund, private equity holdings, and pretty much this is what it's going to: a portfolio of logistics, rental housing, hospitality, lab office, and data centers. Pretty much they're shifting away their assets from traditional offices and malls due to the pandemic, which kind of caused us to do business differently. So with that being said, knowing that, not all of the cash is going towards, what we talk about the most, which is real estate and, short-term rentals, there's a few other different categories in there as well. But the fact that they decided to allocate money to it, it is, it does cause for you to kind of like raise the alarm, or it should make you think like, man, this extremely large wealth management firm has now just raised over $30 billion in these categories that include real estate and, specifically midterm and short-term rentals, along with other assets in there. It should tell you kind of like where the market's going. These are large, like, market movers. You know what I'm saying? $30 billion is no small amount of change. Like, you know what I'm saying? What do you think about this, bro?
Yeah, to me, like, honestly, what that really says to me, because they said logistics, rental housing, so that's also long-term rental, hospitality, lab office, data centers, that really what it sounds like to me is that they're seeing where the opportunity is, and that's what they're getting into. You know what I mean? So they're not going to sit here and wait around for everybody to decide that it's a good opportune moment to get into something. They're like, okay, like, where's the future opportunity going to be? Let's be there. So by the time things explode, we're already in that realm and we can reap all the benefits, you know what I mean, of having already been there.
Yeah.
So that's something a lot of people don't realize, where oftentimes if you wait for everybody to catch on to something, it's kind of too late. Yeah. So that's one thing that's cool. Like you said, Blackstone, they're a market mover. You know what I mean? They're one of the largest wealth management firms, and there's a lot of power they have just as a company. So to see a company that large, that big, allocating money to these certain things, I think that should trigger for any beginner, maybe I should get into this kind of, arena also. Because it's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like, all right, so that means there's opportunity there.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you have big fish like that, who have the potential to move the market, you know what I'm saying? These big fish, they're allocating a lot of money, allocating a lot of time and effort to be in these arenas, but they can't catch everything. You know what I'm saying? They can't really master that market because they can't really pay attention to detail. You know what I'm saying? They have to move in very large steps, whereas when it comes to a smaller operator in, say, in the short-term rental, or maybe you're doing student housing or something like that within the field, midterm rentals as well, you can be that pretty much that person who can catch all of the benefits of that, pretty much like their whatever they can't catch. You know what I'm saying? And when it can be a little bit more personal to the touch of how you operate, that's where you can develop a business for yourself, using your specific, brand strengths to capture a nice segment of that market that these larger corporations are going after as well.
Exactly. Like, what I get from what I think Joey's trying to say is that pretty much, a big company like that, they're just going to cast a large net out there. And then the other fish that slips through the net, they're not worried about that because they have so much others. But what that does is it creates an opportunity for, our everyday person, our beginning investor, to get those ones that slip through the cracks, to pick up those deals that maybe they didn't see the intricacies of that deal, because a lot of times they're probably buying property. Well, not probably. They're definitely buying property sight unseen, just cash buying things, because they have so much money to go out there and do that. But then if you are going to look at these properties, you might come up on a good property that slipped right through their fingers because they're not worried about all the intricacies and the small details that can make something a good deal. Mm-hmm. They're just buying a bunch, and all they need is a few of those to pop off so that they, can be consider that a successful investment.
Exactly. And I mean, if you need proof of that, I mean, just look at the hotel industry. How is it even possible for the short-term rental industry to be as popping as it is? Because some of these hotel brands, they're buying large properties and they're just, bringing people in by the droves, which is amazing. And they can create a nice baseline of expectation. But when you're looking for something a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? And for a company or for an individual to provide you a little bit more, as simple as a kitchen, as simple as stylish finishes, as simple as like communication with the host, you know what I'm saying? You can build an entire business out of that. And that's what Airbnb and these other OTAs have created. You know what I mean? So seeing that these big fish are putting their foot in this market, it should let you know, like, okay, I really need to seriously think about getting into this investment, or, maybe talk to some friends and be like, all right, yeah, it may be time.
Yeah, or if it's something you already do, maybe at a very small level, maybe it's time for you to start looking at how you can save money in certain areas, reallocate money appropriately, to make your listings or make your stays more attractive to prospective renters. You know what I mean? Because if that automatically means there's going to be more competition in those specific spaces. You know what I mean? So if there's more competition, then that means you need to do something to make yourself stand out more, or at least create a reason for why somebody would choose your accommodations as opposed to someone else's.
Right.
Really.
So yeah, that's I thought that was extremely important to bring up today, guys. Like, you definitely always want to keep up with what the big fish are doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
yeah,
what they're doing means that they've seen something in the market and they're ready to go ahead and pounce on it now. And, us being the outsiders looking in, all we can do is make sure we know what steps they're taking so we can plan, how we want to execute business accordingly.
Right. And yeah, I wouldn't say let it dictate all of your moves, but I would say, be aware of what's going on, because companies like that, they're called institutional investors. And these institutional investors, they're coming up and they're scooping up these assets that regular people are looking at and saying they don't want, or they don't want to deal with that, or they don't think it's a good investment. But we're letting all these institutional investors come buy all these assets. There's not going to be anything left for the regular people. So again, like Joey said, let's figure out a way to go find the ones that are slipping through their fingers. Maybe you don't have the capital to compete with them, or you know what I mean? Maybe we can put in all cash offers like they're going to be putting it.
Right.
But there's no way anybody can tell me that the algorithm on their computer is going to be better at finding, those diamonds in the rough, as opposed to somebody who's boots on the ground and actually looking at these assets, looking at these opportunities.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even with what AD said, like, those algorithms, they're not going to catch every great deal. They're going to catch all the deals that make sense to them and their numbers, right? So there's going to be deals that slip through that is not worth it for them to pursue, or they don't have boots on the ground to really, like, find out if this investment is going to work.
Right, or how good of an investment it is.
Right. So those are the deals where you can pretty much make your living off of, right? So, just something to be aware of, and I thought it was important to talk about today, guys. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually am glad that you brought this up, because this is something I really believe firmly, because a lot of us, especially those who haven't stepped into business or investing yet, it's so easy to just listen to every Jack and Jill who has an opinion about investing, whether it's real estate, stock market, crypto, whatever it may be. It's so easy to listen to someone who is going to fearmonger you into not wanting to take action.
Yeah.
Whereas but then we see these institutional investors and they're like, I'll buy it. You know what I mean? So, and if you think, because they have so much money is why they're willing to buy stuff, you're so wrong, because they're not in the business of wasting the money. They are not in the business of wasting this money. They may be buying property and investing with the knowledge and understanding that no investment is 100% safe. They may be aware that it is possible that they can lose money on certain deals, but they're not as pressed about it because they're buying in such bulk that, if I bought 10 properties and 7 out of 10 of them were great and 3 of them were bad, you're not so upset about the end result. You're like, yeah, well, it's part of the game. It comes with the territory. So, but the whole point is, there's certain weaknesses that they have that we could take advantage, just for the mere fact that we can go touch the asset. We can actually develop a personal relationship with the seller or with the agent. And also, they're not going to negotiate as much as we are going to negotiate, because they're just ready to buy a property. So if you see that a property is going to be taken up quickly, maybe that's not the one for you. Maybe you need to look at the property that's got a lot of days on the market.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe you need to look at the opportunity that it seems like people are running away from. And that's where your negotiating power will come in. All right, guys, with that said, Joey's about to hit us with our B for today.
Yeah, guys, the B for today is be engaged, man. You have to be engaged with what the big dogs are doing. You have to. And not particularly because you want to move exactly how they're moving, but you need to know where the money's going, where the big money's going, because they could possibly be the movers of the market. You know what I mean? And you can base your decision, or at least use that as one of the points of decision making, right? So definitely be engaged.
You heard the man. Be engaged, be you, and be uncommon.
Yep. Stay up, guys.